It's Tuesday night here at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio, and the theme of the night is Make America Work Again. T-shirts, hats, buttons, anything you could ask for, you could get it right here at East 4th Street, which is one of the hubs for the Republican National Convention. But the overall tone of convocation was unity and progression, held so dearly here at HU. For Howard University News Vision, I'm Sidnee King. Occupy Inauguration, a coalition of a number of social activist groups, collectively denounced Trump's stances on immigration, women's rights, and ecological preservation. Included in the crowd were the Green Party, Indigenous Peoples of Standing Rock, and Veterans for Peace. Protesters marched from Columbia Heights to McPherson Square, with onlookers joining in as the march progressed. But as the march continued downtown, confusion ensued after an altercation with police.
Let's go to the square. From what I've seen, people have been talking about rubber bullets being hit with rubber bullets, tear gas. They're saying they're using flashbangs. What we heard, it started with a Standing Rock protester, one of the elders there, and he got pepper sprayed right in the face. That kind of started stuff.
Dick Roman, who traveled from Minnesota to support Trump, says protesters were the aggressors in the scuffle.
People were throwing rocks at the police officers. I saw a lot of people throwing rocks. So it's not like the cops were doing it without any violence towards them first.
The violence didn't stop those who came to protest peacefully. Occupation Inauguration ended as planned with a rally in McPherson Square.
As far as I'm concerned, this is a moment of unity.
For Howard University News Service, I'm Sidnee King.
That's how I look at it. They want to get
T-shirts, hats, buttons, anything you could ask for, you could get it right here at East 4th Street, which is one of the hubs for the Republican National Convention here in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, of course, there are many vendors here, but a number of them aren't actually Trump supporters. They've traveled near and far just to make a buck.
politics. He don't see one thing. He don't care about us. He made that perfectly clear. Everything he want to do, build a wall, put out the, what he said something about, guard the borders, don't let no more Islamic people into the country. Everything that he's saying is offensive. So now, I don't, right now, only thing he can do for me, man, is help me pay my bills. Easy as that.
Most vendors have been traveling all year and say they plan to attend the DNC next week. Deisha Williams of South Carolina has been traveling with the Trump campaign for 8 months and says supporters have been more accommodating than RNC protesters.
Supporters are really cool. The protesters have been great.
So are they giving you a hard time, or protesters giving you a hard time?
They have. It just depends on where you go. Like, we're from the South, so when we're in the South, it's definitely way worse.
Right.
Like, you're a person of color, how can you support Trump?
Do you think that Trump has any, possibility of actually becoming the president?
I didn't think he would get this far, so, anything is clearly possible.
All right.
From the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Sidnee King, Howard University News Service. In 1867, President Andrew Johnson approved Howard's University Charter, officially recognizing the school as a private institution. On Thursday, March 2nd, the Howard University community acknowledged its triumphs over the past 150 years. Howard Law professor Lenise Herbert said students and faculty should consider convocation one of the most important events of the year.
It reminds us of our core, our beginnings, our history, our legacy, the progeny, our future. It's everything.
Howard Board of Trustee Mark Mason delivered the Charter Day address, focusing on the long list of historic exploits by the university's alumni.
Being here today feels like a wonderful full circle.
Alumna Gloria Walker Baylor, who graduated from the School of Social Work in 1979, also made her journey back to HU.
Howard University has always been a school of excellence, always been one where you had freedom if you didn't like something to protest, but also the freedom of education to move on.
A group of current students used this freedom to protest a recent meeting Howard University President Wayne Frederick had with Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos, interrupting him during his opening remarks.
But the overall tone of convocation was unity and progression, held so dearly here at HU. For Howard University News Vision, I'm Sidnee King.
It's Election Day, and millions of Americans will be casting their vote for the first time. But for 49-year-old Virginia woman Terry Garrett, this experience is especially memorable. Garrett lost her right to vote at just 18 when she was convicted of her first felony crime, shoplifting. After working hard to turn her life around from nearly 20 years of drug addiction and 5 felony convictions, Garrett first learned that she could regain her rights during her stay at Guest House, a transitional home for Virginia women.
Somebody asked about the right to vote, and I became interested in it and started doing, some history on the process and what had to be done, and found a few people that were interested in the same thing, and we started talking about it, and then I started my process. I've just learned a lot of things, respect, being reliable, being determined. I don't easily give up on things that I really want.
And what she really wanted was the ability to vote. That came in August, when Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe individually restored the rights of 13,000 Virginia ex-offenders.
It's been a roller coaster, believe me. And I have gotten discouraged through some of the process. Not knowing whether I'm going to have it or whether they're going to take it from me again, and wondering if I was going to get it back in time to vote.
Today, the roller coaster came to an end. Garrett cast a vote at the Charles Houston Recreation Center just across the street from her apartment in Alexandria. Dallas Joyner, the director of Guest House, a transitional home where Garrett stayed in 2006, says that Garrett is a great example for the women that she works with.
And this is what the program is about, helping women to redeem themselves and helping women to remember that what you did is not who you are. Even though you've got a story, what you did is not who you are. And this is another testament to that very fact.
Garrett says that her family members have been her greatest supporters throughout this journey. After long having to sit on the sidelines while watching her 3 daughters vote, she actually got to sit down with 2 of them and exercise her newly restored right together.
And it felt good to vote with my daughters, because previously I've seen them go to the polls and I'm standing on the sideline and I watched them come out with their voting stickers. So this time I actually got to vote with my daughters, and it was amazing. It was awesome.
Today I have a voice, and I do want to be a part of something big, and this is big.
From Washington, D.C., this is Sidnee King, Howard University News Service.